No, hey, Mr. Red, what's up?
Nothing. Just got home. Just walked in the door.
Okay, perfect. A part of me still can't believe that my phone's been freaking tapped.
Well, it's either been tapped or you have the world's worst telephone.
I mean, it just happened recently, though.
Oh, really? Because the voice quality is awful. It's all broken up. And what kind of a phone are you using?
A Droid Racer. It's a good phone, and I should have like 4 bars right now.
Oh, yeah. It's all broken up and nasty sounding, but oh well.
Yep.
You know, they're going to have to work on making sure that when they're tapping it, they give you better voice quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh.
Your friends who work. Yeah.
About this friend of mine.
Yeah.
Worked for a Dow Jones News Service and stuff.
Yeah.
What he said was that I said, Steve, you're around all these guys, you know, kind of the guys on Wall Street who are in the know, the big boys, the guys who have all the money, the guys who are really savvy. Not the people you see on TV, but the guys who are actually really smart, who know what's going on. I said, Steve, what's the consensus that they're talking about? And he said, and this is about a year ago, Steve said, well, he said, they're pretty certain that by the year 2017, that was the date that they were figuring that there'd be a huge international collapse.
God damn. Holy shit.
Probably starting here.
When do you think?
And he said it might be sooner. And I thought it would be sooner myself, but it's just wild speculation. I don't know anything. You know, I'm a total idiot.
Yeah.
And Steve said what they told him, and what all of these guys said is the one bellwether, the one thing to watch for. They said the minute that you start seeing interest rates going up, the minute you see the Fed raising interest rates and banks raising interest rates, he said that's the beginning of the end. He said that's the first sign that there's going to be problems.
Hold on. Have they... What? Are they raising... Have they... Didn't they begin doing that?
What's that?
Didn't they begin doing that like a few weeks ago?
Well, they started talking about that, and then this new lady that they put in at the Fed had said that she's going to continue the
quantitative
easing and so-called quantitative easing, that is digitizing the money supply.
Yeah.
Years ago they used to call it printing money, but just pumping a whole bunch of money into the system. And the bizarre thing is that nobody's buying the United States debt anymore. The Federal Reserve is actually buying
all of the debt. Yeah.
The Federal Reserve is buying our debt.
Yeah.
So it's like the right hand is buying the debt from the left hand. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
And it's at some point, you know, that's one of those kinds of Ponzi schemes that at some point collapses.
Yeah.
So then, I don't know how long it can continue to go on.
I mean,
you want to believe that it could go on. That
we
they're never going to get bad. That's, you know, that's that normalcy bias. You want to think that things are always going to stay the same.
I mean, this week we just saw that China said that we should China said
they said that we should be getting away from the dollar.
Yeah. So
that everybody should quit relying on the United States.
And the thing that scares me is that Timothy Guiden or Ben Bernanke wants to step down too, as well. And
he has.
Yeah.
Bernanke's gone.
Yeah.
This new lady, and her background is sketch.
And here's here's the scary thing though. You're familiar with the drone program, right?
Yeah.
And you're familiar with the injustices, like how they killed American citizens and overseas, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Obama just nominated the director of that program to the head of the Department of Homeland Security.
Hey, great.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Awesome.
I know. I know. Jesus Christ.
So, so, so I guess it's okay, because when that heat-seeking missile or laser-guided missile or whatever they use comes flying up your butt, you won't know anyway. You know?
Yeah.
It'll be done before you realize it.
Yeah.
So,
Or
I guess we have nothing really to worry about.
yeah. Seeing that.
You know, those things are pretty active.
Yeah, they are. Except for.
There's no suffering.
Except for the fact that for every militant that's killed, 50 civilians are killed.
That's a deal.
Yeah. And the fact that
Collateral damage.
and the fact that they consider a militant to be any male who's between the age of 6 and 50.
Yeah.
So.
Or maybe 60. Or
Yeah.
65.
Yeah. It's. So I can't believe he will be a part of the freaking. And here's the scary thing. I mean, I went to D.C. last week, and I talked to one of the heads or someone who worked in the department in the Department of Homeland Security, and I was ticked off. So I talked to her directly about the whole NDAA thing, and she just flipped out, and she just freaking ran out of the room as soon as I mentioned the word Constitution.
Oh yeah, well
That's a given.
That's like a old-fashioned notion. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Well, who cares about that? It's like an old document. I mean, it's done by a bunch of old white guys anyway. Come on. Hey, it's pretty stupid. I mean, we know that's no good.
Mhm.
You know, it's all for the greater glory of the cult.
Yep. So then it would be safe to call this a police state, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right, Carl. I hate to say it. I believe you are right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made this recommendation to your old buddy Neil.
Yeah.
Years ago, in a long conversation we had about stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm going to make it to you now.
Yeah.
Many years ago,
Mhm.
when I was in I suppose I was maybe in my late 20s, maybe early 30s. Yeah, whatever, someplace around there.
Mhm.
I had a young guy that I had met.
Mhm.
I owned one of my electronics stores at that time.
Mhm.
And I met this young guy, really brilliant. I mean, scary, brilliant guy.
Mhm.
IQ about 175.
Oh wow.
You would have loved him because he's done postgraduate work in high energy particle physics.
Ooh.
So he was a pretty smart fella.
Mhm.
He was at that time. Now that's a long time ago, Carl.
Mhm.
It's 35 years ago.
Oh wow.
Just as an example, he had been living in Oregon
Mhm.
and doing postgraduate work at University of Oregon.
Mhm.
But he moved back to the middle of nowhere, which was South Dakota,
Mhm.
and was living in an Airstream trailer
Mhm.
in the Black Hills,
Yeah.
up in the middle of nowhere.
Mhm.
And I always asked him, I said, why did you move back? And he said he was absolutely convinced that at some point
Mhm.
terrorists were going to get a hold of some kind of nuclear device, and he figured that living where he was living now
Mhm.
would be probably the safest place, or at that time, safest place that he could possibly live.
Yeah.
he was a really interesting character. But I had all kinds of interesting conversations. He's a very, very black guy. And one day he approached me. He said, "I have a book I want to give you." He said, "This book changed my life." And immediately I started thinking, "Oh my God, he's like a Hare Krishna, or Seventh-day Adventist, or I'm getting nervous, thinking, oh dear, he's going to give me some religious thingy, and how do you, it's kind of scary when people tell you that." And I kind of smiled and changed the subject and stuff. And one day he walked in, and he handed me a book. It's hard to find this book now, but I think it's still out there. And I think Neil got it on Amazon or downloaded it somehow, I think. So it must still be out there in electronic format. But it was written by a guy by the name of Harry Brown. Now, Harry Brown was what they used to call a gold bug. These were people that years ago said that we should go back on the gold standard, and they recommended that people buy gold and suggested that the dollar was worthless. And that was back 35 years. Harry Brown also ran for president on the Libertarian Party.
Oh wow! So he was basically a precursor. So he was basically a precursor then to Ron Paul.
Yeah, exactly. He wrote this book called "How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World," and I read that book, and I have to tell you that I would say the same thing to you that kid said to me. It changed my life. So I'd recommend that to you.
Well, good thing I have it now. Thank you.
Yeah, it's because in a way it's comforting because it's really easy to get a little panicky, especially now. Because I don't think things have ever been as bad. Although I'm sure they have. Probably a lot worse. But certainly in my lifetime haven't. But it's kind of
comforting.
It's reassuring because it's sort of a nice, powerful statement about the power that resides in the individual, and that we're not as helpless as we are inclined to think that we are. It's a good book.
Okay.
I'd recommend it.
Thank you.
So anyhow.
So I guess here's a question. How did all of this happen? I mean, I guess when my kids really ask me, what happened? What happened to America really? What should I tell them?
Well, it's a process, I think, that started well over 100 years ago.
Federal Reserve was established, all of that crap.
There have always been people who believe that government knows more, and that organized government is more efficient than the chaos of individuals running their own lives, and that they believe in a sort of utopia. This kind of utopian idea that everything can be perfected if we have a government that just runs everything, knows everything, controls everything.
In 1984.
That idea's been around for a long, long time, and there's been a very long march to get to that end. There's been a lot of variations on that. National Socialism, which is a socialist version of it, was the same thing. Communism is the same idea. There's been a gazillion different variants on the same thing. But basically, these are people that believe that government can perfect human life and human condition,
Mhm.
and that the individuals just create trouble and chaos and headache and just pain in the butt.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, keeping it at bay
Mhm.
requires very educated
People like us. Mhm.
and we don't have a very well educated electorate anymore.
Yeah, I know.
So we continue to elect people that are good looking,
Yeah.
have a great smile, that are very personable.
The blind leading the blind.
Yeah. Well, very clever, very devious people leading the blind.
Mhm.
And we end up with a political establishment in Washington D.C. that loves the power that they have. They
Mhm.
love the job that they have
Mhm.
because the power equals wealth and privilege that you and I can only imagine.
Mhm.
That we can't even imagine the kind of power and privilege.
Mhm.
There's a reason why multimillionaires spend millions of dollars of their own fortunes
Mhm.
in order to get and keep those jobs.
Mhm.
Because they don't pay much. Instead, they ultimately pay off in even bigger ways.
Mhm.
And it's such a seductive, powerful club that these people belong to.
Mhm.
They don't know about that power.
It's not
They
even
just
about the
want to
money.
make more and more
Mhm.
and more.
So
And it doesn't make any difference what party.
So-
For the most part, they're all
yep, it's all one single party. It's a false dichotomy.
pretty much. It is a false dichotomy.
Yep.
There are maybe a handful of people who have some kind of strong beliefs about the individual and the Constitution
Mhm.
and liberty and stuff, but they're rare and
Mhm.
they're usually pretty well tamped down.
Yeah.
And it's been a long process. Unfortunately, the process in the last 5-6 years has accelerated a lot.
I know.
So
So I guess going back on that other topic, I guess your friend said that that by 2017 there would be this huge crash. Why do you?
well, he said. That's what the really, really smart guys in the big money business we're talking about. He said this is an irony too. He said, you know what the biggest thing where all the really huge money is going?
What?
He said, of course, all these big guys. He said they're buying precious metals
Mhm.
like crazy.
Mhm.
He said, but they're putting their really big money
Mhm.
into ranches and farms, well away from population centers. Think about that one for a while.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Think about that.
Jesus fucking Christ.
In a lot of areas, farm and ranch prices and land prices are really high when everything else has been depressed. It's because it's been bid up by guys who have, more money than God.
God damn.
And I thought, that's weird. I'd heard that or read that someplace, and I thought, it's just kind of maybe a crazy rumor or something. And Steven said, no. He said, that's what they apparently are doing.
And what is his name?
What's that?
And what is his name?
This kid that I know?
Yeah.
Steve Cox.
Huh?
His name is Steve Cox.
And where did he work?
He worked for Dow Jones News Service.
Oh wow.
Or the Wall Street Journal.
And how did you meet him?
He's retired now. I've known him since I think probably 6th grade, 5th grade.
Oh wow. I mean, this is honestly scary, Mr. Rudd. I mean, do you mind if I share this with a few of my friends, or do you?
No. That's what he told me.
this is
That's the way it was.
Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, wow.
So it's just another odd thing to know.
Do you think that they're crazy? Do you think that they're crazy enough to go through with this?
To go through with what?
This whole nuclear war type shit?
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that what's going to happen is that they're you know, we may see some kind of excitement in the Middle East.
Mhm.
I was there. That's another bizarre place.
Mhm.
I think that probably worldwide financial crisis is going to be the most likely thing.
Mhm. And then I guess like civil unrest, martial law, etc.
Well, that's probably a good bet.
Mhm. Hence why we're seeing. Hence what.
A lot more stringent controls than you see now
Yeah.
on people's movement, behavior, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, they say prepare for the worst,
hope for the best.
hope for the best, pray for the best,
Mhm.
whatever. It goes against our human nature. All of us want to believe that things are going to stay pretty much normal. You know?
Well, here's some.
Carl, I'm going to have to go now.
Okay, take care, sir. Take it easy. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.